Welcome back, competitors, to part 2 of our Community Alpha Tour. In part 1 of the tour, we took a deep dive through the Compete game lobby and menus to explore the features players can look forward to while playing Compete. This included an in-depth description of our initial vision, current progress, and future development priorities for a number of core player experiences, including customizing your character, earning, buying, and collecting tokenized cosmetic game assets, trading on our in-game marketplace bazaar, and tracking your career and Compete via stats and leaderboards. If you haven't seen part 1, I definitely recommend that you check it out when you have a chance. In part 2, we're going to take a look at Compete matchmaking specifically. We'll go over all the details you need to know to have a solid understanding of the game loops for each of our 3 core game modes, which include trio-based team battle royale, kart racing, and basketball. Now you might be wondering, hey Ethan, what's a game loop? For Compete, the game loop is the player's experience from the time they enter into a matchmaking game until they return back to the menus at the end of their gameplay session. We'll go over everything you need to know to play, including the rules of the game, the win conditions, the overall feel of the game, as well as some general strategy that will be involved. Of course, some visuals always help, so we'll provide some gameplay highlights in the background as we go through so that you can see exactly where our development progress is, as well as what to expect while playing. Now, just a heads up, things aren't perfectly polished yet, but we're excited to be at a place where we can put together this comprehensive look at Compete matchmaking for the community. With that introduction out of the way, the best place to start is where any truly great matchmaking experience does, the friends and party systems. So let's get logged on and get this rolling. Alright, so we're logged in now, and here's the Compete main lobby. This should look familiar to you from part 1 of our tour. On the right hand side, you'll see the friends list as the most prominent feature. Now to play with your friends, you'll need to add them to your list and join up in a party. Let's take an overhead view of that process. As you can see here, we've got my account on the left and a new friend called Tester27 on the right. To add Tester27, I'll simply type in his name into the box and click add. You'll see that I receive a notification that the request was sent, and Tester27 receives a new request notification in the red there. As soon as the request is accepted, both players show the other as online. Great. Next step is to start up a party. Inviting Tester27 to the party is simple. Just hold right mouse button over their name. They'll get the invite pop up right away, allowing them to join. Once a player joins your party, voice chat is active. As you can see next, it's easy to pass party leader and also kick them from the party if that becomes necessary. Now that we know how it works, let's invite Justin to our party and we'll take a look at the Battle Royale.
Hey, what's up, Ethan? Good to see you, man. I'm ready to play some Compete. I'm going to go ahead and play some Battle Royale now.
Welcome to the Compete Battle Royale. Battle Royale has exploded in popularity over the last few years, thanks largely in part to games including PUBG and Fortnite. Battle Royale is easily one of the most popular game modes currently, and so when we were designing Compete, we knew that we not only had to include it, but had to do it justice and find a way to make ours unique. Let's start by going over the basics. In a lot of ways, Compete is similar to other BRs you've played, but we also have some unique features that we think create a really fun, engaging game for all players. Now, as you just saw, Compete starts as most Battle Royales do, high in the sky above the map. Players have a few seconds while the rest of the lobby loads in to run around, scope out the competition, and flex with their coolest game assets in our helicopter. As the game starts, players find themselves flying high over Mizuku Island, the home of the Compete Battle Royale. The map spans the entire island, and players will have to decide where to land with their team. To start, Compete will run with 5 teams of 3 players on the current iteration of Mizuku Island. You can join up with a party of friends or be placed on a random team. Players will land on Mizuku and follow the traditional game loop for Battle Royale. Loot, rotate, eliminate opponents, survive. The last player or team left alive wins for their entire team. To keep things fast-paced and engaging, we've added a few spins on the traditional Battle Royale. The first spin is that in addition to standard revive of downed teammates, there will also be a respawn mechanic, meaning that if you die and at least one of your teammates survives for 60 seconds, you'll be spawned back into the game from above. No weapons to start, but with a second chance. This allows for the game to be fun and engaging even for less competitive players. Number 2, the storm moves fast. Like a lot of battle royales, a storm continually moves in to inflict damage on anyone who doesn't stay out of its way. This brings remaining players closer together by default as the circle gets smaller. This faster storm, coupled with a map that's set up to be traveled quickly, makes the gameplay more action-packed and less of a walking simulator. As Compete Mizuku grows, the size of the Battle Royale will grow as well. To start, Mizuku has 4 primary points of interest, including park, town hall, beach, and office. In between is a mountainous terrain connected by a kart race track and various other footpaths. There are a number of opportunities for custom cosmetics in the Battle Royale, including weapon wraps, gliders, clothing, and emotes. It's important to remember that none of these cosmetic game assets provide any in-game advantage over other players. Everyone's on an equal playing field here. These new spins on Battle Royale will provide a fun, fast, and engaging multiplayer experience for all players, regardless of skill level. Now to start the game, your team will need to jump from the helicopter and establish somewhere to land. To help, we've added a ping feature so that you can mark your drop location for your teammates. As far as where you land, it's really up to you. There are safes all over the island, hiding in plain sight. Loot should never be hard to find, and you should never have to look far. Spend your first few minutes searching out for some of your favorite weapons, but don't be too picky. Again, the game is meant to move fast, and you'll only start with a bow and throwable axe. In regards to what can be found in each safe, it's totally random every game. Loot a few and you'll find a whole mix of guns, ammos, healing items, and explosives. Keep in mind that each gun has specific strengths and weaknesses, but in general, Compete is looking to provide balanced gameplay with all of our weapons. Though, there might be certain weapons or items that play to your specific DNA and playstyle. Play through a few games and there's no doubt you're going to find some favorites. Your inventory management is really minimal here, and was designed to keep things simple. You'll always have a slot for your axe, 2 weapon slots, and 2 utility slots for healing items and explosives. In the upper left, you'll notice a few counters, including the total number of players left, the number of eliminations you've gotten, and how much time before the storm advances. It's up to you to manage your inventory and decide which combination you want to carry. As you're looting and starting to explore the map, you're going to notice that it's very easy to get around fast. There are a couple of main reasons for this. Number 1 is that we've given all players the ability to climb and scale the side of most every wall, rock, cliff, etc. There's almost nowhere you can't go. Climb up high and jump down with or without your glider. There's no fall damage to worry about. When it comes to interiors, there's nothing worse than feeling trapped in a building. To keep players mobile, we've committed to a very minimal approach for our interiors. We've got props to add still, but those additions shouldn't make it any tougher to get around. We've also removed glass and added a ton of windows. Keep in mind as you're looting that there's likely other teams nearby. You'll need to be on constant alert and work together as a team to establish yourselves and lock down your initial area. Once you've looted enough to establish your inventories and ensure the coast is clear by eliminating initial opponents, it's time to start rotating around the map. It's likely that right about this time is when you'll hear the foghorn blow, the official signal that the storm is on the move. Keep an eye out for where the storm is headed and make your way to safer ground. If you're right in the middle of the storm, maybe it's worth setting up camp and staying put. How you decide to rotate or stay put becomes a big component of the strategy for the game. Regardless of which you choose, as players rotate to maneuver around the storm and avoid taking damage, teams are inevitably pushed into each other's space. You'll notice that your radar shows your teammates' location, but not your enemies. This means that you'll have to constantly be vigilant of your surroundings to ensure you don't get ambushed. As you inevitably get pushed into battling other teams, there's really only a couple things you need to know. A player is first downed, and then they're eliminated with additional damage dealt. When the player is downed, they're unable to fight back, but they can crawl around slightly and more importantly can also be revived by a teammate. This revival only takes a couple of seconds, but leaves everybody involved very vulnerable. As mentioned earlier, a player is returned to the game and dropped from above if any of their teammates survive for 60 seconds after they are eliminated. In the end, it's the last surviving team or player that wins. You'll know the game is over when you see the Compete animated winner or loser screen, which signals the end of the game. Did you secure the bag or did you fumble it? After the game is over, you'll move into the post-game lobby where you'll see the game experience you've earned and some options for what's next. Your game experience is calculated with your game stats and incorporates things like shots, headshots, revives, and whether or not you won the game, just to name a few. If you're ready for the next game, stay put and select ready to enter the matchmaking queue with anyone else that's ready in your party. You'll get sent into the next game automatically. You'll also have the option to stop by the shop or locker in case you want to switch up your character. Lastly, if it's time to hang it up, you'll have an easy route back to the Compete lobby. Overall, the Battle Royale is meant to provide fun, fast, competitive gameplay for all skill levels, and with different character builds and an evolving Mizuku Island and weapons, the game will stay fresh over the long haul. Next, let's hop on over to kart racing and take a look at what the setup is there. Competitors, start your engines. Similar to Battle Royale, kart racing is one of those classic game modes that most everyone loves. Justin is a huge fan of kart racing game modes from his childhood and played Mario Kart all the way through college. On top of that, one of our lead game developers, Adam, is also a huge fan of kart racing. Unfortunately, even though there's a lot of love for kart racing, both among the team and in the community in general, the kart racing game mode has taken a bit of a backseat in recent years. There's really only one kart racing game out there that people play these days, Mario Kart Tour, but it's pay to win and only on mobile with no crossplay. Even still, it's one of the top played mobile games. Justin's thought is that although kart racing is a hard game mode to survive on its own, it is the perfect addition to compete. When we set out to make a kart racing game, the team wanted to ride a similar line to the Battle Royale and make sure that the game was action-packed and fun for all skill levels. To do this, we introduced some familiar compete mechanics to our kart racing game loop. 5 teams of 3 racers will line up on the start line of the Mizuku kart track, located near the park. Players will have the opportunity to use any custom kart game asset they've collected, or stick with the starter kart. Use this chance to show off your wheels and intimidate your opponents, but keep in mind that all karts have the same speed and handling, so there's no in-game advantage here, just street cred. As the countdown hits 0, hit the gas and make your way out onto the course. The kart racing track snakes through Mizuku Island, jumping and twisting its way through all the major points of interest. As Mizuku Island grows, the track will evolve over time to keep racing fresh for players, with new surprises introduced along the way. When you head out, you'll quickly notice that there's a lot of action. Your job is to make sure that one of your teammates crosses the finish line first, and there are 3 laps which must be completed to win. At any given time, you can take a look at the progress bar at the top of the screen to show where your team sits as far as ranking position. One big twist with compete kart racing is that when someone on your team wins, everybody on your team wins, making this a game of strategy as much as pure racing skill. Along the way, you'll find scattered item pickups that are there to help you. These items can either be weapons to slow down your opponents, or utility items meant to help your teammates. To start, we'll have a blade spinner, dino, and a rocket launcher as weapons, and a booster and electric tether for utility items. As the game mode grows, even more new items will be introduced. There are also boost pads embedded in the track along the way. You want to make sure that you catch as many of those as you can. Drift around corners to maintain speed, but be aware that there are times it's better to slow down. As you get to know the course and how your kart handles, you'll see those lap times improve. Traffic barriers are meant to keep you on the track, but if you manage to get off course, you'll be reset automatically at the expense of a slight time delay. And it's not just staying on the map that you need to worry about, because all along the course there are hazards to navigate. Tight corners, jumps, crusher blocks, and seemingly innocent things like streetlights can stop you dead in your tracks. It's not just other players you need to worry about. You should also take special note that compete kart racing is as much strategy as it is skill, and teams will no doubt find creative ways to win. Just because you've fallen further behind does not mean you can't get involved and help out. And even if the race has already ended with a winner, players will always have the opportunity to finish out their race. Of course, we'll have the same winner and loser screens from Battle Royale returning to the kart race, ready to let you know officially if you've secured or fumbled the bag. From there, it's back to the post-game lobby, which is very similar to the Battle Royale, where you can check up on your game experience you've earned, access the shops and lockers, and jump back in with your party when you're ready. Okay, from here, we'll pass it on over to Justin, who's going to fill you in on basketball.
Why, thank you, Ethan. This is Justin here. Let's get into talking hoops. Our basketball game mode is a 3v3 street simulation basketball. First to 21 points wins. The gameplay, it's similar to NBA 2K. There's detailed animations, and you assign the animations that you want. As you can see here on the screen, I'm doing a bunch of dribbling moves and pulling up a bunch of different combos. So you take those animations and you assign them to your player. If you recall from part 1 of the Alpha Tour, you're able to go and assign attributes to your player. So if you want to make some fast dribbling 3-point shooter, you can do that. If you want to make some huge rebounder center type archetype, you can do that as well. The basketball right now, it's unpolished. It's raw. There's a good amount of animation work to do. It's probably our least polished game mode that we're showing you guys today, But the foundation is working, which is why I'm showing it to you. The base locomotion, as in like me running around with the ball, it's working. You can see that, like, we're dribbling the ball. It looks good too. It doesn't look bad. And then we also have the standstill dribbling. So you can see me right here. I'm doing these dribble combos. I actually just did the Curry slide there. But I can jump around, and all of those are triggered on the controller if you're pointing it in a proper direction, which I'll get into a deep tutorial video on that, I'm sure, at some point. But just know, like, these are combo dribble moves, very, very similar to NBA 2K. Just to note, this is me and Ethan testing right now, doing the tour. So we're playing by ourselves and have the score to end at 1 point so that we can easily get the ball back. In terms of the cosmetics and customization, right now we have planned for different style basketballs, different sounds for when you make a jump shot. You can customize the sound. Also, we have plans to have specialized virtual effects so that when you get a perfect shot, a cool virtual effect will show up. These aren't implemented yet. I don't know when they will be, but those are the plans for monetizing and the customization in the basketball. In terms of the environment, you're going to be able to play at a bunch of different locations on Mizuku. Right now, we're at the basketball park, but if you've noticed, there is also a basketball court near the beach, right on the ocean. Ultimately, we'll be putting in more locations as we grow Mizuku Island. Basketball is what started it all. This is what gave me the original idea for the game and really got me going with Compete, because I view it still to this day as the biggest opportunity. There is a game mode in NBA 2K that everybody plays called Park. This is where you create an avatar and you play with your avatar at the park against others in a 3v3 environment. Most of the kids and most of the internet traffic for NBA 2K is on this game mode. They don't play as the NBA teams. Also, a lot of those dudes that play NBA 2K Park, they also go play Battle Royale and other sports games. And that's exactly who we want playing the game. We want people who are playing a couple of different multiplayer games at once that can just hop on to Compete and fulfill all of their needs on one game now. That's what Compete's all about. There is the gameplay. This has been Justin Meister as well as Ethan from Compete. Thanks a lot for listening. If you have questions, leave them in the comments or ask us in the Telegram or Discord. And if you're not joined up in Telegram or Discord, be sure you do. All right, guys. See you later.